and welcome to the Broadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Bones, and I am a student in the radio class. With me today are...
I'm Chris Willis. I'm a professor of media technology.
I'm Natalie Gard. I am, what would you say, support staff?
The media technology coordinator.
Oh, media technology coordinator.
And I'm Chad Wilson. I'm the technology trainer in the care center at Chattanooga State.
Welcome all, welcome all. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl today, because things happened. Good things and bad things. Fun things.
I was pulling for the Chiefs.
Oh, right off the bat. So that answers who, first of all, who watched the Super Bowl last night out of you?
I watched the first half, kind of, while I was talking to people.
I didn't watch 1 second of it.
I watched until after Kendrick Lamar performed.
Yeah. What did you think about that performance?
It was okay. I thought Kendrick Lamar was a basketball player, so I wasn't really prepared for all of it.
Why is he performing? No, I didn't watch anything but the performance, mostly because I don't really care for sports like that. But I will say that was the easiest way for me to get tickets to a Kendrick concert, because I am broke. Yeah. But... So, to any of those, for the split second that you did watch the game, what were any of y'all's thoughts on, like, the whole, I don't know, I want to say the outcome or, like, the plays that happened in the game? Is there a specific moment that stood out to y'all in particular that y'all loved, apart from the halftime show?
I love the Hellman's commercial. You won't know. Have you ever seen When Harry Met Sally?
No.
Oh my gosh, River. It's iconic. That was such a good commercial. That was my favorite.
I liked the Seal commercial.
No.
I thought that
so
was
weird.
a good play on Seal's name and actual Seals.
I can't believe Seal was like, okay, yes, I'm going to let you do this with my image. It's the most bizarre looking thing in the world.
Heidi Klum probably talked him into it.
Are they still together?
I thought so.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know if they are or not.
All right, so
Breaking news.
You were asking if we watched the game at all, and my guess is none of us actually
No.
paid attention to the sports part of it.
I know the outcome, mostly because my family is big into, or my family outside my father and mother, they're into the football scene, and they actively watch the game, not the performance.
I also really loved, did you see the breast cancer one? It was just all boobs.
What?
It was so good, but it was like
You can't see it, chat, but
made. It was so
You can't
well
see it.
done.
Google cinematic.
No,
So
we're
good.
not
We're
Googling
watching-
that.
I wonder if anybody complained about that, or they're like upset if it's too provocative. But I'm
I
like,
doubt
if it wasn't
it.
provocative, nobody's listening to your message. So it's
I
probably
doubt
not.
it nowadays. I doubt anyone
so good.
cared.
I loved Snoop and who was the one about hate sounds stupid, and I was like, that's good. Just call that out.
not
Snoop
Tom
and Tom Brady, yeah. And then the other one with the mascots running to the Instacart, like, that was just cute to see.
In my opinion, I didn't really think that the Super Bowl commercials this year were that great. Like, compared to ones I've seen in the past, I just found them kind of like lackluster for the most part, because they were just commercial. Like, for some of them, it felt like they weren't trying. Like, they were like, oh, it's just a commercial for the Super Bowl. Like, that's how it felt to
$8
me.
million worth.
I know.
But it's like the marketing for them, like, what does this mean? Like, you're like, what does Seal have to do with Baja Blast?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Exactly.
What does the, like, weird cowboy hat head have to do with Tubi TV?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where I feel like nowadays, because companies already push ads everywhere else, they're like, the Super Bowl isn't one of those things where you have to push your A game anymore. Because I remember back in, this is going to make me sound old, back whenever, I remember back whenever I was little, like, the ads were like,
They were
what you watched the Super Bowl for, not the game half the time.
yeah.
Because the game could be, like, lackluster. And the ads were what made it, and the fact that it was the first game, like, coming back into the new year, and the musical artist. I remember whenever the musical artist was like one of the things that my family always anticipated, because there's very few like teams that I was ever hyped to see at the Super Bowl, so it was always the music that brought me there. So like. And my mom loved specifically the Prince Super Bowl show.
Okay.
That was her favorite. And she showed it to me when I was like 8.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the show, and it's one of the first times you get to see as a kid like all of it. It was a show
Isn't
that
it pouring rain?
it was
playing
so,
Purple Rain
in,
the
in the,
pouring
in the
rain.
and he also does "Rolling on the River" by Creedence Clearwater Revival, a song he has not covered ever besides that show.
That's awesome.
He just brought it out because he can.
All right, did it used to be like, didn't Springsteen play the Super Bowl and U2? Like, it used to be a lot of rock acts, and there's a lot of people,
They got tired of
a
rock.
lot of white people complaining about hip hop. There's been a lot of hip hop the last few years.
Yeah, especially
Or
with
R&B.
and now we're getting more pop, especially with the Shakira show that happened like
Yeah, with
way
J-Lo.
back. I remember the backlash that came after the Maroon 5 show because a lot of people I was following were like, that show was mediocre.
It
Like,
was
that was
terrible.
That was terrible.
I don't remember that one. My favorite was
brought
Katy
Bad.
Perry.
He brought like Bad Bunny out with him,
Oh.
and it's a rap rock hybrid show, and it didn't work
Oh.
because they're two different vibes.
Right.
The best part of that was when Adam Levine goes, Atlanta! Atlanta's the best part of that whole performance.
Why did he was just confused?
He was just doing stuff like.
Was it in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it? I can't remember.
I think so. Unless he just likes
It was just a
Atlanta.
mediocre show that didn't feel like it was worthy of being in the Super Bowl show. I was like, why are we watching this? And then the other one I remember vividly because it happened recently was the rap showcase show with Eminem, 50
Dre.
Cent,
Yeah.
Dre. That was cool, and I loved the way they did the staging for that, having certain individuals like upside down and stuff like that. I just thought that was
In
brilliant.
terms of broadcasting, if you go and search behind the scenes of Super Bowl, like a time lapse of how they set that up, perform, break it down, and go back to football,
It's fast.
mind blowing.
It's so fast.
Honestly, I was thinking it's crazy. Nobody's ever fallen off a stage or something that just wasn't connected correctly because they just set it up.
The only thing I didn't really vibe with is I feel like the sets are becoming simpler.
Yeah, I like that. He was trying. Kendrick Lamar's. He was
It was-
taking a
yeah.
stand on
Yes.
sexualization of people that are under the age of 18, and
Yeah.
that's why he had all of his dancers
In,
in
like,
red, white, and blue jumpsuits.
suits.
And
In like a prison yard setting.
yes,
I get why Kendrick did it, but like there's certain shows like the Bad Bunny one and the Shakira one that just felt like, what are we doing? This is so simple. Like
But
it
I
didn't
still
feel like a
wonder, like,
spectacle.
Yeah,
Like
those
how
special.
fans probably liked it.
yes.
there were 126 million viewers of the Super Bowl and 65,719 fans that attended.
It was one that I was like, I can see a lot of the hype coming from this act in the middle of in the halftime show. I felt like not a lot of people came for the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because on the outside, this game seems like a setup from every football fan I talked to before this. They were like, "This is a setup wash game."
I've seen the conspiracy theories about that. Like next year, it's in I think Los Angeles, and like the colors of the logo next year, like it's going to be this team and this team because the colors that's their colors and whatever.
I wasn't even going that far into that. I was going into like the fact that a lot of people were like, "It's the Kansas City Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl again." And so did the Eagles, who have lost already in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago.
I wonder if Jason Kelsey is kicking himself because he
Yeah.
just quit last year. He lost last year. If he would have stuck it out with his team one more year,
Literally one more year.
he would have won.
He would have been a good person to have on that eyebrows commercial or the mustache commercial. Those eyebrows are something else.
Oh.
All right, just like getting to see an artist you like, if it happens to be somebody you like at the Super Bowl, do like 3, 4, kind of half of their songs in 20 minutes. Is that something people would pay for? Like sometimes I go to concerts and I'm like, I'm old, I ain't got like all
Personally-
night to stay out. I would love to see like Jack White play 4 songs in Nashville, and I'd pay $50 as opposed to $300. Like,
Yeah, like I get where you're coming from on that, but like, especially with your Super Bowl picks, like Kendrick Lamar's picks were not his most popular songs. They were songs that related to other things, like because he was digging deep into his catalog for those songs. Because DNA came from his debut album, like that came off of his album.
And
Same with Humble.
Humble. I love that song. And Chattanooga, Samuel L. Jackson was there. Thought that was cool. And it was a dig with Serena Williams. It was a dig at Drake because they used to
Yes.
date.
Had her crip walking
I didn't.
on stage.
I honestly didn't get.
You didn't get it?
I didn't understand. I had to like look
When
up
you look into it,
afterwards.
you're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that at first value, it's like, oh, it's a good show. And then you look into it and you're like, okay then.
All right, so the controversy with the song and the rap battle diss tracks is that like inappropriate for the Super Bowl? Do you think they
No.
went too far, or do you think more people would have been disappointed if he hadn't gone there and
Yeah.
played?
They
that
would
song?
have.
They would've been disappointed.
Hear me out. When your song wins 5 Grammys
Yep.
and the entire Grammys crowd is singing it and you don't play it at the Super Bowl, people would have left mad.
Does that say something about our culture? Like, what's going on?
I think that
in
says a
America?
lot about us as people. The fact that that this song that is destroying one person's life is bringing an entire city together is hilarious, and I think it's funny in a way because at the pop-out show that Kendrick played right after Not Like Us came out, which was a show that basically like coming hot off the heels of the beef and was still riding on that high, to the point that some even noted that while he was on stage, he was wearing clothes that started to make him look like Tupac while he was on stage, relating back to the AI song that they used, trying to bring Tupac into this, and.
But what was up with the jeans when he performed at the Super
Wide
Bowl?
leg jeans. They're back.
They're back. I don't know, but like at the pop-out show, like they had Bloods and Crips dancing on stage to Not Like Us, like rival gang factions dancing to a diss track. I'm sorry, that's something magical. Like when you can get two people who venomously hate each other
Yeah.
to put that aside just to say they hate this man. I can't fault that.
Hate brings everyone together.
It's a unifying force no matter what.
Do you know his necklace? It was that A. Do you know what the A stands for?
No, I am not looking into
So
it.
the A stands for his line A minor.
Oh, and it's a lowercase a too. Oh no! The devilish grin he had
Oh,
when he said, "Hey Drake,"
Yes.
had me. I was like, "This man
Say
knows
Drake.
what." He was teasing that song the entire time too. He's like, "I want to play that song." What song? That one. But you know they like to sue. Oh.
And Drake is suing.
He's suing the record
NFL
label.
and he's suing everybody at
It's
this
a
point.
bizarre suit too. It's not against the artist.
It's
for
not
what
against
they're saying.
Kendrick.
It's against them making money off of.
It's
But
not
Kendrick
denying
Lamar
that
paid to
okay, so
play
I did
the
actually
Super
look into
Bowl.
this. It started with the record label that Kendrick is under. Drake said that he thinks that the record label inflated the numbers of Not Like Us to make it a bigger song, and he's suing for that. He's not suing for defamation. He's suing because he thinks that Kendrick's song isn't good enough to be popular in a way.
That's like if somebody says something like that about me, I'm suing for defamation. I
Yeah.
did not do the thing you're saying.
But-
That's the only.
But what's the
important
weird part
thing.
is he's not really saying he didn't. He's like originally his like comeback to Not Like Us was, "Oh, I fed you all that information. You activated my trap card." Like he was like, "Yeah, I don't have a secret daughter. If I was a pedophile, don't you think I would be in jail?"
It's got those like OJ denial vibes.
It's literally like if I'd done it levels of like it was so weird to like he's like, "No, you don't have to be famous to do that. That's exclusively like a famous person thing, like notorious famous person crime." It was just a weird suit that he's never denied it. And there's also videos from like back in like 2017 of him or like early 2000s of him kissing a minor on stage. So it's like it's not new. It's
Yeah.
just stuff he's just rehashing what's already been said. For the record, I saw that face. It was he pulled a 17-year-old girl up on stage, didn't know she was 17, and then
Okay.
so that one you can kind of label as an accident, but
That's stuff like that's bound to happen. But
That's why you check
I would be
IDs.
upset. It's always to me where there's smoke, there's fire. Like if something's
Shady.
being said and somebody's not denying it, that's a little weird.
Yeah. It was. In my opinion, this beef has brought the internet on fire for the most part because, as far as I can remember, it's been a while since we've had a good, like, two artists go at it as hard as they have. And some people are trying to compare this to, like, the Tupac Biggie debate, which is not, in my opinion, this is nowhere near that. This is very tame.
All right, so back to the Super Bowl.
Sorry.
It is neat that that is one of the biggest viewerships of any program, if not, is it the biggest?
Yes.
It is.
It's kind of crazy how we have so much content these days, but this is still our one thing in America and in the world
That brings us
that
together.
Everybody watches, and it's an opportunity to share a message, which it was cool. Like you were saying, that there was really intentionality in.
It wasn't
Yes.
just random. It was like there was like he said, the revolution's about to be televised. Like he started that off.
That was awesome.
Ooh.
Good Super Bowl.
Do y'all have any final thoughts as we start to move out of this?
After this,
Episode.
we're gonna go into my office and watch the breast cancer commercial.
Okay.
It's so
If I don't
good.
if I don't come back, tell my mother I loved her. Well, that's all for this episode of the Broadcast Podcast. Once again, I've been Bones.
Chris Willis.
Natalie Gard.
Chad Wilson.
Have a great day.